what you can achieve. When she really, really, really believes the force behind everyone that's great, she'll sacrifice and do whatever it takes. Never underestimate the power of a woman. She's amazing and inspiring to see. The power of a woman. Yeah, she's a work of art created by God. The beautiful, phenomenal, extraordinary woman.
I'm Renee Noor, model, creative director, founder of Global Women Wealth Warriors, Wellness Hub, and GW3 magazine. I dedicated my life and devoted my career into helping women and girls to achieving their goals. I've been passionate about empowering women and enriching men. This opportunity in working with the Global Women Wealth Warriors have afforded me the pleasure of traveling outside of the country to be a support unit, most importantly, to help impact and change lives. Our ultimate purpose is to help others to become whole from finance, spiritual, mental, as well as physical. We know there are challenges and obstacles to get you to the next level. However, it's time for you to level up, boss up, and welcome to Power to Soar.
Well, we want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, to you, and especially you to Voices, the talk show where we bring it from the clubhouse right here into your house. And I want to introduce you, my friend, Renee Noor. She is the founder and the creator of the GW3 Global Club and the Global Women Wealth Warriors on Clubhouse. Our members are passionate about positively impacting the lives of women and girls while also enriching men to reach an abundance lifestyle, a lifestyle gained through financial literacy, learning new currency, and maintaining healthy eating for wellness. Renee is a global keynote speaker. She's an award-winning international Ebony Fashion Fair model, a marathon runner, an award-winning golfer, along with too many other awards and accolades for me to mention in the time frame of this show. So look, without further ado, go ahead and put your hands together, clap those mics, put some emojis up on Clubhouse. The beautiful one, the legend, the intelligent mentor, just to name a few, the woman herself, my friend, none other than Renee Noor. Hello, Renee. Hello.
Hello. How are you doing today, my friend? You're looking great over there.
I'm still super fantastic, and you are looking so magnificent in that royal blue, and it's befitting of a royal queen.
Oh, thank you so very much, Jeff. You're just amazing. Yes, you are. And I'm just grateful with everything that's been taking place right now. I feel great. I mean, the energy is up, and it just gives me excitement all the time to see your face, but also what we're doing as we're preparing for the Power to Soar Leadership Conferences. My goodness, it's 15 days away. 15 days away. So excited. I'm so excited that we're bringing so many of us back together. It's like a great reunion. I was speaking to so many of our leaders from last year. Michael D. Butler, who's going to be joining us. And then we got a great surprise, Mr. Glenn Rudin. We're going to have so many Glens is going to be there this year, but it's going to be very, very powerful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again, Pastor Jeff.
I'm looking forward to it as well, Renee. It doesn't seem like it's been a year already, and this year, here we are already in the month of August. So those 15 days, I imagine are, we're going to blink the eye, go to sleep and wake up, and we're going to be at that Power to Soar, the 5th annual award ceremony. And again, so many wonderful people that are coming to be recognized, the 100 women and 100 men, and then our Lifetime Achievement Award with none other than, as you would say, the man himself, Mr. Glenn Lundy. And I just can't wait, Renee.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing experience, and you're right. The man himself in the interview with Glenn was just so, oh my God, it really took away from me that I was able to see Glenn go back into who, kind of like giving birth back to himself again,
Yeah.
also through his journey, his testimony. But you know what? Just like with Glenn, not only he's receiving a lifetime achievement, we have several others that's going to be receiving their lifetime achievement awards as well. Speaking of lifetime achievement, our next guest, Pastor Jeff, my goodness, not only am I so honored to say I've had the opportunity of getting to know her, but also I've got the opportunity of watching her evolve into the giant that she is today. And I love the fact that she really makes sure that humility, it stays right there within who she is. This queen, and I know she is the queen. Let me go get my crown right quick for her. Not only she's traveled the world, as an athlete, but also she has fused her energy to continue on propelling for other women as well as girls. Her empowerment is just so touching. But I want to say this also. She is a mother as well as a woman who knows how to handle her business as well, So I'm so excited. And a dear friend, I guess my daughter had to be at least 8 or 9 when she first met Rushia. And here's that time for us to welcome the woman that will be receiving her Lifetime Achievement Award as well, Miss Rushia Amazing Brown, our motivational speaker, alongside with women empowerment, and of course, WNBA, of course, that's kind of like how has helped her not only find her way, but also propel her to also bring value to so many women as well as underrepresented girls around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, I'll let Pastor Jeff continue because I know how you love doing it, Pastor Jeff.
Absolutely. We're going to bring up to the stage now a woman who is uplifting, who is encouraging, who is empowering, and absolutely has taken her mess to become the message that has inspired many. None other than the woman herself, Miss Rushia Brown. Good, Rushia.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you both for such an amazing welcome and introduction. I need to put you both in my pocket and take you with me wherever I go.
Oh,
Hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to
I
go.
we keep our bags packed, Rushia, so be careful what you ask for, okay? Because we'll
Absolutely.
show up everywhere you go.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you guys.
You're
only
so
take me
welcome.
2
You're
hours to
so
get there, too.
beautiful. You are so beautiful, Rushia.
Yes.
It's amazing to see the woman that you have become. And I remember when we first connected. Oh, I don't know if you remember us going through makeup tips as well as trying to work through what to wear. You're like, I can't wear any of that. Remember those days?
I feel very uncomfortable in having the hair and the makeup and the dress. I've gotten a little bit better, but I'm still most comfortable in my sweats and my tank top. But I do realize, and I think, Renee, that interaction with you also helped me develop my programming for my young ladies to help them understand the balance that they needed, especially the young athletes, that you had to be more than just a baller and present yourself accordingly in various spaces. So thank you for the time that you spent helping me get together and stepping outside of my comfort zone.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And I want to say this, thank you for also pouring back right into my young girl, my daughter at the age of, like I said, between 9 and 10, because Janae was at that point. And you had you had this amazing empowerment session for the girls. And that was her first time ever putting a basketball in her hand. And because of you, not only did you inspire her to continue on playing basketball, my goodness, she has been the MVP. She's received many scholarships, and she looks so much up to you. So I want to say thank you for being a blessing in my daughter's life.
And you know, Renee, that's what it's all about. So many times we look at our own individual achievements, but it's about the impact we're able to have on others. And the young ladies that are coming behind me are always and have always been my goal and my mission, because it's really about making sure that they get the things that they need in order to be successful. And it takes us being role models, and all the women that I work with and support are very committed to making sure that they have people they can come to and a resource.
Absolutely. Well, I love how you have just truly found your purpose and your passion, and you push through your pain. I know it's very hard. At this point in my life, also, we both now have lost our fathers, but I know with you, you've lost your dad, and that kind of like really pushed you into that point of where you wanted to go to college. That was one of the greatest things. But I know he left such a strong foundation for you and your family. And I just want to say this, absolutely love your mom as well as your brother. And it's always great seeing you all together. You guys are just like so much fun being around as well, Rushia.
We have definitely benefited from both the ups and downs of our upbringing. Losing our father at a very young age. We also have a sister that's in the middle of us, but she was military and always gone. But the lessons that we learned, and like you said, the foundation that was laid by both our parents is something that will forever stick with us. And that work ethic, that drive, the passion for understanding that your purpose and your talent is going to be the thing that gets you over, but also your community service and the work that you do to impact others. So I'm grateful for the time I had with my father. It definitely was a moment of pain when we lost him, but all the things that he taught me prior to his leaving has benefited me and helping me develop and grow into the woman that I am today.
I absolutely love that. Yes. And I'm sure he's everybody's so proud of you. Not only have you been able to make an impact locally, but also internationally. And as you continue on, you are just like dropping, as I say, you're planting seeds wherever you travel. Now, I know with your transition from, retiring from basketball, going into business, what I love about that transition that you did, now you're pouring right back into those women. You have on your superwoman outfit right now, because I'll tell you this, not only do those women need it, but those up and coming girls need that as well. Those life lessons, and then that whole mental mindset. So I'm applauding you for everything that you're doing with your organization, being the president as well, and understanding that was a missing piece that needed to be fulfilled.
It definitely was something that I needed, and just having conversations with the other women that were a part of my sisterhood, I figured they needed it too. And I think a lot of times being able to solve a problem just comes from analyzing what's going on in your own life and the people around you. And so when I looked at my sisterhood and saw that there were issues with transition, just like any athlete or even military person, like when you do something for so long, your life becomes very monochromatic. It's just not monochromatic, but very, you do the same thing all the time. So you look for some type of change, and when you're no longer in that system, you can get stifled. And so it really was a challenge to make sure that the women had the resources that they needed as they moved into their transition from playing professional sports into corporate America.
Yes. And with the women's professional basketball alumni, what are some of the opportunities for even the young girls? Because I know you are very passionate in this space. You love mentorship. That was one of the greatest things that we were able to be a part of from the beginning. And I love seeing even the young ladies that you've introduced me to see how they've also have evolved. But with the whole platform, how has that really helped, not only, as you said, those existing players, but the young girls as well, to look up to that organization?
One of the things that was really important to me when establishing the organization was understanding the impact that we could have. And I remember as a young lady in high school that one of the alumni from my high school had gone to South Carolina, and she was playing for the Gamecocks, and she came back and spoke to us. And I remember how that impacted me. And that was just about going to college. So I knew that I had a platform that could impact and change lives because I played at the highest level. And in fact, I was a part of the beginning. So being a pioneer for the WNBA, I wanted to see this league be successful. And I knew that it would take not only the women that are currently playing, but the ones that have played before, and even more so the opportunity to pour into the ones that would come behind us, to better prepare them for the situations that they would incur. And the women that I have aligned myself with feel the same way. So it's just really important that everyone understands their role. And your gift and your talent is not always about you. It's about how you can do something for someone else. And just thinking about the lives of the different young ladies that we've been able to impact, and the stories go on forever. And like you mentioned, even internationally, having played overseas as well in 5 different countries, the relationships there, having been able to bring young ladies over to play in college, some of them even play professionally. Those are the things that really excite me and just really touch my soul, because I understand that, God has given me an opportunity, and it's not just about doing what Rushia wants, but doing his work and making sure that people get to their next best thing.
Absolutely love that. What I also love about you, Rushia, not only do you understand your gifts and you appreciate your gifts, but now you have been blessed to have a gift of your own. You are a mother now. Oh my goodness.
It is amazing that.
Yes, look how you just lit up when I said that.
Yeah, that is my joy. She had her first day of school today, and so all week we've been trying to get everything prepared, but all the years that I've worked with other people's daughters, she's probably tired of me because I'm forever pouring into her just based on the things that I've learned, the things that have gone well for these kids, the things that have not gone so well. I want her to be prepared. I want her to see her gift and understand that life can be whatever she wants it to be. And I just want to be a resource for her. And I get complimented all the time about all of the different things I get her involved in. But I do believe that versatility and diversity in activity really helps you find yourself. Of course, her mother played sports, so she's got access to all the best female basketball players in the world. So, I'm trying to teach her something. She'll tell me, well, Asia Wilson said this, Kelsey Plum said this. And I'm like, I don't care what Asia and Kelsey said. I'm your mother. But being able to give her access to all these amazing opportunities, letting her travel internationally at young ages so she can understand different cultures and have empathy with different people. I think those are the things that are important. And I can't do that for all the young ladies that I work with in my program, but my child, I get to make the decisions. I get to give her the access. I get to prepare her to the best of my ability and have her aligned with people that are amazing so she can know that excellence is attainable. And she doesn't have to just, live to the environment that she may see other people be in. She can create her own story, her own success. And it doesn't even have to be about basketball. I challenge her often and be like, you don't have to play if you don't want to. I don't want you to think you have to be like mommy. You can play golf. You can play tennis. You can do whatever. You don't have to play a sport at all. But whatever you decide to do, I want you to challenge yourself to be your best and not perfect. Perfection is not attainable, but your best is what we strive for. So she has been my greatest challenge, my greatest gift. She's my greatest accolade. She's everything for me. And I'm just very proud of who she is and the mother that I've become because of her.
I absolutely can concur with you. You already know. Oh my goodness. That's why I'm hearing it. I'm smiling because, all we could do is only wish for the best for them. And because we have the access, of course, we're going to give them the access. And what you said was so eloquently, you already know, first and foremost, I wanted Janae to play golf. I wanted her to play golf. But when she had just a little sniff of Miss Rushia Brown, I was like, what golf clubs? Really? So they went out the door. And, daughter, she went through her little moments of the ACL meniscus. And then she had another ACL meniscus situation. But I love the fact that no matter what, she was focused on completing. She was determined to become her best version of herself, despite what mom wanted. And just what you said so eloquently, sometimes we have to get out of our kids' way so therefore they can find their very own place. And I think with that, kids don't have any resentment from the family, from the parents when we do that as well. So wonderful, wonderful way of sharing it. But I want to say this to you. I would love to get the girls together because Janae will be coming into town for August, and I'm sure your beautiful queen will be right there with you. And I would love for those girls to connect. I know the age difference is there. However, it doesn't matter because I know your daughter's an old soul and my daughter's an old soul, and they can go and rock the world together. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. They're both bosses, so I just
Yes.
really love and appreciate the opportunity to have shared time with her and just the young ladies, like you mentioned. There have been so many young ladies that I've had an opportunity to work with, and I watched them grow and develop, and it makes my heart happy to see that I could have helped them in their journey. And like you mentioned with Janae, and just how even through turmoil and struggle, she figured out a way to continue and to finish. And that's one of the things that is very important for our kids to understand. Even when you feel like you're not doing it at the highest level because maybe injury or whatever the case is, that discipline and being able to fail forward and keep getting up and pushing until you complete, I mean, it goes without saying, because those are traits that benefit you in life as well. When you transition into that next space, those things help you to continue to be great because you understand what excellence looks like.
Absolutely. Well, I noticed there's a fun side in Miss Rushia Brown as well. You guys always, I love when I see you and your daughter together. You are in there dancing with her. What is kind of like your, I always like when Janae comes to town, I always say, let's go roller skating. What are some of the most fun activities that you enjoy doing with your daughter?
Just yesterday, because it was the end of the summer, we went to Six Flags. And my head and stomach still hurt because I hate roller coasters, but I get on them with her just because I know that's what she loves. But I let her dictate the things that we do because I want her to have input. I need her to understand the power of her own voice and not just always doing what mama says. So if she wants to do these silly TikTok dances, I get my non-dancing butt out there and I do it with her. If she wants to ride bikes, she loves being active. She loves exercise. She goes through points where she was learning the guitar. She loves singing. Whatever those things are, I just support her and join her in whatever activity she wants to do. But I also sometimes throw something in there to challenge her to see if she could step up and do something different. So it's all, again, like I mentioned, about diversity and doing things that we haven't done because it challenges both of us. So I look forward to any opportunities we have together to share and do something new and different so we can laugh at each other. Like laughter is a huge part. And that's one of the things I try and teach her. You got to laugh at yourself because this thing is not always going to go the way that you want it to, but you cannot take yourself too seriously because then that's when you start pushing against yourself. So we have a great time together and I can't wait to pick her up today to hear about her first day from school. She was a little hesitant going in. Of course, I had to give her some encouraging words about stepping back into, we just moved back to Atlanta. So she's back at her old school, but it's still a new school because she won't know the people from before. But I love the fact that she is always challenging herself to do better and to be better. And just even yesterday was an example of her being afraid, but doing it anyway. She did not skydiving. She did the zip line about 2 weeks ago. And I posted a picture and my friends were like, why did you make her do that? She looked so afraid. I was like, I didn't make her do anything. She said she wanted to do it. And I said, well, let's go. And even when she was afraid, I was like, okay, I know you're afraid, but do it anyway. Because there are going to be so many instances in your life when things are going to be challenging and they may not be as easy as you want them to be. And you can't quit. That's when you push through and get to that other side. So I'm just, as you can tell, I love my daughter with everything. Yes. And I'm just very excited of the woman, the young lady she's becoming. And I just look forward to seeing who she is in the years as she develops.
Absolutely. I love how you say fail forward and face your fear and do it anyway. Mm-hmm. That is so, so true. I also love, the fact not only you have this amazing bond with your daughter as well as your mom, but being able to work right alongside with your brother. Let me say this, okay? Because I used to call my brother Knucklehead, and he used to call me Beastie. That was my nickname, right? Mm-hmm. And if he was here today, we still would be having really good times together because we always still loved each other no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my brother unfortunately committed suicide and he's not here with us today. However, I love your relationship that you and your brother have. And it's just always such a joy to see you all interact. And now that you're working together as, you know, being the director of public relations, how has that been? I mean, you guys are constantly in each other's space, right? But you're empowering the youth and showing, you know, people how family members really can work together.
Absolutely. And it's funny because my brother and I, when I went off to college, we had tough times. You know, we had lost our dad and we were both adjusting differently. We were both grieving differently. And then I ended up leaving and going to college and they moved to a different city. So there was some distance between us. But as we grew and developed, we learned to accept each other for who we were and not who we thought the other should be. And I think that's why our personalities play so well off of one another, because we are complete polar opposites, but we complement one another. My brother is a genius, an artistic genius. I can't draw a straight line. I'm the athletic one in the family. You would look at him and think he plays some professional sport, but no, none. And even my sister is military. We're all very three different personalities, but I am the outgoing, you know, extrovert. I love people. If he didn't have to talk to anybody but be in a room with his canvas, he would be happy. So I make sure he has everything he needs and he doesn't have to push too far. I challenge him to get outside of his comfort zone, but I don't want him to leave his space of expertise too much. Whereas he puts me in a position where I can do the things that I love to do, and then he'll challenge me to do something different based on a creative activity or idea that he has. So we play really well off of one another. And you speaking of YBE, Young Black Entrepreneur Magazine, and the organization that we work with, which is an educational platform to encourage minorities to start their own businesses. And we start with our youth, where we teach them what it looks like to find your purpose and your passion, how to create your business plan, how to start working and, you know, do your marketing and all the different pieces that are necessary when you're forming a successful business. And that education starts early, and he's so passionate about it. We do a great job of working together. So it's funny because he's so ahead of his time. And I literally have to talk him off the ledge sometimes because he'll think of something and then 3 years later it becomes mainstream. I was like, dang, you know, like, and it's frustrating, but I'm always there to support him and just help him get into the circles that he needs to be in order to be successful. And his talent always brings the cream to the top.
Absolutely. And he is a genius. You're absolutely correct. I mean, he just creates things. I don't even know. When is he born? Is he in January by chance?
No, he's in March.
He's in March. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's truly is a genius. Oh my goodness. I'm just enjoying our conversation. And I know, Jeff, you want to chime in here. Jeff, please do so, because I can talk to this lady for hours, okay? For hours. And I just truly love Miss Rushia Brown. You on mute.
Alrighty. Helps if you come off of the mute button. Rushia, we understand that your journey has been a tough journey, and that starting out in the 10th grade when you first picked up a basketball, and you played in a sport that really wasn't that friendly to women, and you had to travel, go overseas to really make a headway in it, traveling to 5 countries and speaking quite a few different languages. And so with that, we can see that you've poured back into the young ladies with the boss girls. And we know they're brilliant, they're ambitious, they're worthy, they're strong, and they're educated. And I'd like to know, with that, in that uplifting, encouraging, and empowering, what has been your most memorable moment sharing with the young ladies?
Wow, there are so many moments. And thank you so much for acknowledging that program. That was my baby that came out of COVID, because I realized that the time that I spent these young ladies was not so much just about them, but also about me. Like, I loved being in the space where I could encourage them. I loved being in the space where they shared their toils and their challenges with me and being able to help them figure it out. So even I was impacted when we couldn't have that space because we were all on lockdown. So I created a virtual program, and that's how Boss Girls was created. And the space and the time that we were able to have together virtually just really did something for me. And now we're even executing. I'm flying out, what's today? On Friday to go to Maryland to do a program, and in Vegas in 2 weeks to do another program. But it really is about helping them understand a holistic approach to excellence. You know, everything from hygiene to finances to college prep to confidence and empowerment, leadership development, just understanding that these young ladies can do and be anything that they want and have the power to write their own story, to create their own narrative. If you have the right tools, you can be successful in any space. So I'm always excited. And so when you ask me what's one of my best engagements, I mean, it's hard to pick. It's really hard to pick, but I will share, excuse me, I've been doing this program for a while, and one of the young ladies, I can tell you a number of stories, even though like Boss Girls has developed over the years, the type of programming has been consistent. But I have one young lady that I worked with at the Boys and Girls Club who went on to do international studies and just attributes that because I always spoke about the places that I traveled and the things that I'd done. I have another young lady who did my program, and then when she graduated from high school, she asked me, Miss Rushia, can I do that for the middle schoolers? And so I taught her all of that, and then she ran for a political position, and now she's teaching. So like these young women that I'm interacting with, they go on to impact other lives. And, you know, so the degrees of separation with the people that I'm impacting indirectly is really important. So, I mean, there are just so many stories that I could tell. And I hate to go back to Morgan, but even with her, she's a part of my Boss Girls program because she gets to see everything that I do. And one of the really important things for me is helping these young ladies understand the importance of having their voice. And even at a younger age, Morgan understood that she had to speak up for herself. She was not to let people overlook her. And at a time in my career, I organized camps and clinics for the professional athletes. And so I was in DC doing a basketball camp for Ivory Latta, who played with the Washington Mystics. And they were doing these drills. And she was like, Mommy, can I work out? And she's like 4.5. And I was like, yes, but you stay on the outside of the court. Don't get on the court with the big kids. Because they were 13 to 17. So she's outside of the court on the little sideline doing the same drills. And the guy that's organizing and doing the camp, they did the drill and he said, how many did you get? How many did you get? How many did you get? He went down the line and didn't ask Morgan. The second time he did the same thing. The third time she was like, hey, you didn't ask me how many I got. You know, like, and that power stemmed from the fact that I was always stressing to her how important it is for her to stand up for herself, that she is meaningful. Like there's so much to her. She needs to make sure she's in a great space. So in that moment, I laughed, but I was extremely proud of her because she didn't allow for herself to overlook. And we know that our young ladies, especially young ladies of color, are often put in situations where they don't have a voice, where they don't take opportunity of using their voice. And that's one of the things I was most proud of in situations.
Wow. You know, you speak of rewriting the narrative, and you absolutely rewrote the narrative as it pertains to the professional women in basketball and their retirement. But before I go into that, if anybody knows basketball, they know when you say the Final Four, they know what you're talking about. But look, I think there's a different Final Four because not only once, but twice you went from 200 to the Final Four. And it has to do with showing your tenacity, showing your drive to not accept the status quo, but you were going to reach what you planned on reaching. So would you mind telling our listeners a little bit about your experience of going to the Final Four twice?
So, and I'm guessing with the Final Four, you're talking about my international experiences, because when I played internationally, we played in the Final Four for the European League, where I've won 7 championships. And, just playing overseas in itself is an amazing opportunity, but a great challenge. You spoke earlier of my ability to speak several languages, and I spoke a little bit earlier of always understanding the importance of the empathy in different cultures, not being the American that just goes over and demands that everyone speaks English to accommodate me, but allowing myself to learn from them, to eat their food, to experience their families, to, learn the language. Those things are really important. But I honestly believe that those were things that helped me be successful on the court as well, because the bond I was able to build with my teammates was unbreakable. They knew that I was in it for them 120%, and that made a difference, as opposed to just showing up, playing, and then going home and not engaging with them. And so for me, relationships are really important. And my success on the court always stems from the fact that I was willing to do the work off the court. So not only were we going to work hard and practice, I'm going to push you in practice, I'm going to challenge you to do better and to be better. But when we're off the court, I want us to have a good time too. I want to learn about your family. I want to make sure, like if things are going on with you, you're comfortable talking to me so I can help you have your mind right when it's time for us to get on this court. So the time that I spent being successful in the league was unparalleled, because those relationships I still have. There are amazing women that I have built relationships with in various countries that I still communicate with, one of which is my very good friend in Italy, Emanuela Nicosia, and Manu had her daughter in April, and I had Morgan in May. So we would literally contact each other and talk about our doctor's appointments. And when Morgan was 1, I went to Italy, and our daughters played together. So it's about relationship building. And I believe the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So the way that we played on the court led to our relationship off the court, and our off the court led to how we, encourage one another, and even beyond this game. So I won a lot, especially overseas, but it stemmed from all the other work that was done.
And speaking of overseas, when you came back from overseas and you came back to the US of A, and you didn't take the normal route that most take getting into the pros. And so when you came back, you went to 2 different, and you had to fly to 2 different tryouts. And if I understand, there was 200 women that were at each one of those, and you got down to the Final Four, but you didn't get picked, but you went to the second time, but you stuck with it. So tell us a little bit about that journey and how you actually got into the pros.
Absolutely. So playing professionally in the WNBA was such an amazing opportunity, because in '96, the NBA decided that they were going to start a league parallel to the NBA for the women, and that would be the WNBA. So what they did was the '96 Olympic team, and those Olympics were played here in Atlanta. The women on the basketball team did a full year of touring. And it's an amazing story on 30 for 30 on ESPN right now that's circulating. But they did a great job of publicizing and advertising basketball. But when the league started, they took those Olympians and put them on teams. Then they took the top college players and put them on teams. Now, I'd gone to Furman University after having committed to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I wanted something smaller and to be closer to home. I was still dealing with the grief of having lost my family, my father, trying to figure out how my family was going to adjust. So I wanted to be closer to my family. But I didn't go to a big school. So when they were drafting players, I wasn't drafted. Then we had a situation where I'm playing overseas internationally, and I'm playing in France. I'm the #1 athlete in the country, leading and scoring. And the coaches and GMs are coming over to France. So I'm telling my agent, this is my chance. I know they'll come get me. They'll see me. And as we're playing and they're coming to these games, they're picking people. And I was never selected. And I was blown away, because I'm killing this girl. I gave you 25 and 12. I gave you 30. And how do you get put on a team and I didn't? So, of course, my ego was a little shaken. But I still believed I was good enough to play in this league. And fortunately enough for me, in the first year of the WNBA, they allowed for each of the franchises to have open tryouts, because they were trying to build up the hype in the various cities to get people excited about the game, give random people a chance to come in and try out for the team. So I came from Atlanta to Charlotte, and tried out. Like you said, 200 women trying out for 2 spots, made it down to the Final Four, and I got cut. Came back to Atlanta heartbroken. But in having a conversation with my mom, she literally was like, do you think you're good enough to play in this league? And I was like, I know, but they just cut me. I'm trying to figure out what you need me to do. I got cut. So I did some research and found out that Cleveland the following weekend was having a similar opportunity. So I got my brother, my ace, and he drove with me to Cleveland, and we went through it again. And I remember specifically, I could see him at half court at the top row. And whenever I got tired, I would just glance up at him, and he'd be like, let's go. You know, he was there to encourage me. But once again, I made it down to that Final Four, and this time I was offered a position as a practice player. And now practice player means when the team is playing, you can't. You sit in the stands. When the team travels, you don't travel. You just come to practice. And that's not exactly what I went there for, but I knew I just needed my foot in the door. So for 3.5 weeks, we had training camp, and I was there. I worked really hard every day. I promise. I probably cried every other day because it was the hardest thing I'd ever done. But I knew I wanted to be a part of this league. I needed to show them that I was worthy. And at the end of that 3.5 weeks, the coach calls me into her office and says, Rushia, you had an amazing, amazing camp, and I want to give you a position on the regular roster. So she took one of the young ladies that was on the regular roster off and gave me an opportunity, and I just ran with it. And 7 games in, she called me in again. She was like, look, listen, we are playing LA on ESPN on Friday, and I want you to start. So I went from not being drafted to not being invited to camp to trying out for Charlotte and getting cut to being a practice player to a starter. I mean, like, that story is amazing. And I tell it all the time, just not to let people know, ooh, Rushia's amazing, but the fact that you get a chance to do and work towards whatever goal it is you want, despite what other people say or think. And so many times we're impacted because people tell us we're not good enough. They tell us we didn't go to the right school, or we don't have the right education, or we're from the wrong side of town. But that has nothing to, your thoughts about me have nothing to do with me. And it's about the work I'm willing to put in. It's about the dedication and the passion that I have for what I'm trying to do. And those are the things that I think that have contributed to my success. And those are the things that I try and pass down. So those Final Fours, I guess that's what you were referencing, the Final Four that I made in Charlotte, I was able to capitalize on them in order to build a very successful career.
Absolutely. And I know that LA, the Los Angeles Lakers, was your dad's favorite team. And I don't know what or any impact that maybe Kobe Bryant had on you. But here it is. You're in your debut in LA going up against probably one of the best women basketball players at the time, Miss Lisa Leslie. Tell us what went through your mind, and what would you say to young women and young boys today that find themselves going up for the very first time against what they may say is their Goliath, because you handled your business.
And it's funny because even in that space, I was so happy to be a starter and given that opportunity. But on the flip side of that coin, I was like, ain't no upside to being selected. Ain't no best matchup for Lisa Leslie. Like, she's amazing. And like you said, she's probably one of the top athletes in the world. So I was just happy to be given the opportunity to play against her. And of course, and it's so funny, she wasn't guarding me, but I was guarding her. So the girl who was guarding me, I killed her. I scored the first 2 times. And that third time, Lisa came over on help side and threw my shot into the bleachers. I was like, okay, let me collect myself and get it together. But it was always an honor to play against the best, because that helps you raise your game to the next level. It helps you be more creative about how you're going to respond and do different things. So it's always an honor and just a privilege to be able to play against one of the most talented women in the world. And we even have a good relationship now. We've done some work together, and I love the fact that she's doing amazing things in business as well.
Well, I want you to take a deep breath before I give the mic back to the beautiful one. And here I am with 2 beautiful ones. Take a nice deep breath. And I want to ask you a really deep question. And so you've shared the closeness you had with your dad. You've talked about the struggle that you had afterwards, and finding yourself and going through that process of grief. And I know one of the things, although I don't have any daughters, is that there's a special bond between a father and his daughter. And so, if you could speak to your dad right now, what would he tell you that he's most proud of you for?
I am not a crier, so I will say that first. But every time I get into a position where I have to talk about my dad, just because I know how hard he worked and what he wanted for his family. And like you said, there's a very special bond between a father and his daughter. Like, that's the first man I ever loved. I was spoiled. We didn't even have anything, honey, and I didn't even know it because, the love that I received at home was extremely important in my development. But I think even like on his deathbed, he was fearful for me because of how close we were. And under medication, he was like, I don't know if she's going to make it. She's going to be too sensitive. I don't know if she's going to make it. So the thing that I would tell him is, Daddy, I made it. All the things that he taught me, I learned, I listened, and they were really important in my development and my growth. So not only did I make it for me and my family, but I made it for all the other people that I'll be able to impact, throughout my journey. And I just know that I think he would be proud. And the fact that I had an opportunity to work with the Sparks, and he was a huge Laker fan, he was a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. I was at an event where I got a chance to present an award to Franco Harris, and I shared with him the love that my father had for him and took a picture. And, all those things, these opportunities stem from the fact that he always challenged me to be my best self, even before I started playing sports. So definitely, thanks, Pastor Jeff, for trying to make me cry on here. But it's just really important. All the tools that he gave me, I think without even knowing that they would impact me in sport and in business.
So, would it be fair to say that his legacy lives on as you share a portion of him with all of those that you mentor, not only the little girls, not only the boys, but even with the adults, as you also are a champion? I've heard a story of how you championed a former WNBA player who had become homeless. And because of that, you created a program against the odds so that the women could step up on the equality of what was already being offered to the men. So would you agree that you share a bit of his legacy
Absolutely.
with all those you pour into?
Absolutely. And I know that both my mother and my father have been instrumental in the development of myself and my siblings. And I think I learned work ethic from them. I learned empathy from them. I learned, being your best self from them. I learned putting your best foot forward despite what's going on at home from them. Like, we didn't have anything. And I honestly didn't know that until I went to college. And I was like, I'm poor. I had no idea. But until I got out, because they made me understand that my life wasn't about money. It was about the experiences. It was about family. It was about the time that we spent together. And all of those things are really important. So having, I mentioned my siblings, the three of us, extremely different in our personalities and our talents, but all of us stemming from the same tree and understanding what work ethic looks like in the lives that we impact in various ways, different ways that we do it, but it's consistent to what our parents are.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in 15 days there in Atlanta. And as a pastor, I could ask you a lot of questions because I'm really intrigued with your story. And it absolutely is one from trials to triumph. And I'm sure there's so much more that you haven't shared. Now, I got one last question before I turn the mic to Renee. So it's been 10 years in the making. 10 years in the making. So I want to know, when is the book coming out?
I promise. I had a meeting in DC about 3 weeks ago, and she was like, I got you on a timeline, because I worked with her daughter as well, Renee. And
Yes.
she's saying, there is no way all of this does not need to be written down. You have I have 3 books in me already. And she's like, there's no way. I don't know why you keep procrastinating and why you keep putting it off. So by the end of this year, I have a youth book that is coming out that's called The 34 Ways of a Boss Girl. And then I have The Passion Principle, How to Be the Exception and Not the Rule. And the third one, I haven't figured out what the name of that one is yet, but one of them will be done by the end of this year.
We're going to hold you to that, okay? Not only are we going to hold you to it, we're going to make sure we announce it and keep holding you accountable for that, because just this interview alone, not only did we learn so much more about you, Rushia, but this is truly your essence. This is how you are not only living your legacy, you're living the legacy that your Father and our Heavenly Father want you to live. And we have to keep on telling those stories. And not only keep on telling those stories, but keep empowering others to tell their story as well.
Absolutely.
So we're going to get that out of you. Yes, we are beautiful. Yes, we are. Your courageousness, okay? Your tenacity, as well as your grit. And like I always say, if only these shoes could talk. If only these shoes could talk. Because I know, just hearing those moments, everybody see the glam, but they don't understand about the real grit. And I mean the real grit. And I love the fact that you said you didn't realize you were poor because you had so much love around you. And that is something that I truly can relate to as well. You don't need to have money when you have love. And that's what your family, your father, your mother, and that's what I say, that's what I see all the time with you all, so much love. And when you have love, that's an abundance, and you can always get any and everything that you want. You are living the life of a true legend. You made so many great achievements, and we're so looking forward to honoring you. Yes, we're looking forward to honoring you, my friend.
I welcome that. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So can you please, because as we're closing out this amazing interview, leave our viewers with some words of not only inspiration, but wisdom that only the Rushia Brown can lay down.
And I'll share with this because I always find time to share about my passion principles, how to be the exception and not the rule. And I found that the people that are most successful are those that find their purpose and attack it with passion. And passion is an acronym, meaning perseverance, knowing that there will be challenges, setbacks, obstacles, but you got to figure out a way to get back on track and keep moving forward. Your A is your attitude, understanding that the way that you walk into a room and present yourself dictates how people will treat you. You show them how to treat you by the way that you carry yourself. Be the person they want to support. Your S is sacrifice, understanding the difference between what I want to do and what I need to do. Our decision making is so important when we say there's something that we want to do, because you got to be able to give up something. Your second S is setting goals. Understand how to figure out what it is you want to do and how to get there. Short-term goals to long-term goals. Don't be afraid to dream big, because the bigger you do it and when you attain it, it wasn't just you, it's something that God gave you, and that you're put in a position where you've leveraged everything that He's given you in order to be great, and He's ordered your steps. Your I is, inner strength. And so your inner strength is just really understanding that, I can't be discouraged by the things that other people say. I have to believe in me even when no one else does. And knowing that, my gifts and my talents are mine, but I have to do the work. So that inner strength really plays a huge part. Your O is your optimism. We talked about things happening in your life. But when something negative happens in your life, you can't keep harping on it and feeding on it. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it. What next? So finding a positive in the midst of any negative situation. And our N is never giving up, never quitting. And like I mentioned earlier, failing forward. Just understanding that failing is a part of the process. It prepares you for whatever it is that you're getting to, that final step. Those failures help you build muscles. Those failures help you gain experience. Those failures help you understand how to deal with certain situations. And as an athlete, we're typically in a space of wins and losses, but I've transitioned into a space of wins and lessons. Either I'm winning or I'm learning something. So I want to share that with everyone. Understand that your passion can help you to be excellent It's about being the exception and not the rule in the classroom, the boardroom, the court or field, in your personal journey, in your spiritual walk. All these things are important. And I just really am excited the fact that I get a chance to have a platform to share them. And yes, the book will be coming out soon.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I am so grateful for all of your accomplishments and knowing that not only have you continued on with your humility, but you know your purpose, you know your passion, you are persistent, and I love your drive. Absolutely love your drive. And one more thing, many of them don't know. You know, they always hear me say my extraordinary, I stand 6'2". But on that day, we're going to see another queen that stands absolutely taller than me, because you stand 6'2" on your average days, just flat foot. Is that right?
Absolutely. I'm 6'2" with no heels. So I might have
Yes.
some cute sneakers because my knees and my feet, these 20 years of basketball have done certain things to my body. But I'll be prepared to stand beside you, my sister.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, we've had an amazing interview with the one and only, our amazing Miss Rushia Brown. Not only is she one of our motivational speakers, she's also a woman that's a pioneer across the world. And as we are getting ready to close out, I want to thank Mark, our producer, for putting everything together as he's bringing the screen back together. And we're going to be closing out this segment for this amazing interview with the one and only, one of our honorees for the 2022 Power to Soar Leadership Conference, August 19th through the 21st. Miss Rushia Brown will be in the house. Thank you so very much, beautiful, and I cannot wait to see you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for the time to share. I greatly appreciate your platform.
So we'll be closing out today's Voices. Thank you again. We look forward to seeing you guys on Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Renee Noor, and that's our Pastor Jeff. We say farewell for now.
God bless.
Thank you.